You might have heard about Trump accounts, the part of the president's big bill that will create government-funded investment accounts for newborns.
This is a pro-family initiative that will help millions of Americans harness the strength of our economy.
The idea is to help more people invest and build wealth. This isn't a new concept. Some cities and states already have similar programs, sometimes known as baby bonds. But with these investment accounts, the federal government makes the initial $1,000 deposit. Here are 4 things to know about how these accounts would work. 1. Who qualifies for an account? There are 2 main groups of children who can get Trump accounts. The first includes all children with a Social Security number. Basically, everyone under 18 is eligible for an account. But a smaller group of children will be part of a pilot program that gets a $1,000 investment from the government. To qualify, children must be U.S. citizens born between January 1st, 2025 and December 31st, 2028, to at least one parent with a Social Security number. There are a few ways the accounts can be created. Parents can open accounts for their children. Companies can open the accounts for their employees' children as a new employee benefit, or for their employees themselves if they're under 18. Or accounts can automatically be created by the federal government for children who qualify and don't already have an account. 2. How do the accounts work? Think of Trump accounts like IRAs for children. Parents or relatives can invest up to $5,000 per year with yearly cost of living adjustments. Employers can contribute up to half of that total. But other groups, like cities, states, tribal governments, and nonprofits, can contribute more, with no maximum, to qualified classes of children. That can include kids in a specific geographic area or born in a specific year. The accounts will be treated like retirement accounts, and the money will be invested in the stock market. When beneficiaries turn 18, the money can be withdrawn without penalty under the same rules governing IRAs. Up to $10,000 can be used to buy a house, and unlimited money can be withdrawn for qualified education expenses. How distributions are taxed is determined by who contributes to the account. 3. What are some of the benefits of these accounts? Ray Bushera is a senior advisor at the Center for Social Development at Washington University in St. Louis and a senior fellow at the Aspen Institute. He sees a few major benefits from the accounts. First, they can financially buoy young Americans who face tougher economic headwinds. They also have the potential to broaden money management skills early on.
I think it just presents a tremendous financial literacy opportunity, like a generational opportunity. When kids have their own account and it's in their name and they can watch their money grow, boy, you can scale up financial literacy around the country and make it much more effective and much more salient.
And research shows these kinds of investments can change future behavior.
We have seen some really positive results from the research that show that, again, when you invest on behalf of these kids, it does change both their and their parents' outlooks.
Madeline Brown is a senior policy analyst at the Urban Institute. The idea behind these accounts, she says, is to introduce more Americans to investing and to build small amounts of wealth with little cost to children or their families.
You want those 18 years of solid investment returns, somewhere between 5 and 10%, depending on the year. But you want more than just compounding interest, right? You want to be able to take advantage of the markets.
According to Gallup, around 60% of Americans report owning stocks, and the rate of stock ownership is much lower among Black Americans, Hispanic Americans, and Americans earning less than $50,000 per year. But the benefits for those child investment accounts are not just financial.
There are sort of reasons to believe that this kind of investment does actually change the behavior of both children and their parents, because it has to do with essentially somebody saying, we believe in you, we believe that you have this future that you should look forward to and start saving for.
18 years ago, researchers at the Center for Social Development began studying accounts like these in a group of just under 3,000 children in Oklahoma. Since then, they found that parents of children with accounts sustained high expectations about their children's education, had less intense maternal depressive symptoms, and reduced punitive parenting practices. The children also showed improved early social-emotional development and greater college preparation than children in the control group. 4. What are some of the drawbacks? In the pilot program, the government would deposit the same amount of money for every child, no matter their parents' level of income in the long run. Experts like Brown are worried that could actually widen the wealth gap. While state, local, and tribal governments, as well as nonprofits and employers, can contribute to accounts, some families won't be able to add much to the federal government's initial investment. Some may not be able to contribute at all.
It's about a third of families in this country don't have $2,000 in a savings account. families at the top have 71 more times the wealth than families in the middle. 71. And that was in 2022. If we don't build in any progressivity, we'll likely see that gap stretch.
And down the line, when account holders may want to use the money, there will be restrictions on how they can spend it. The idea is the money should be used on something that will appreciate in value or provide financial security, like a college education or the purchase of a home. But the median sales price of a house in the first quarter of 2025 was nearly $417,000, meaning the $10,000 you're allowed to take out from the account may not go far on a down payment.
The whole point is having the money so you can actually start your life, invest in an education, a skill, get some kind of credential, maybe buy your first home, start a business, and eventually retirement. But right now, because the distributions are governed by traditional IRA rules, there's limits on what you can do with that without paying additional taxes and penalties.
Another concern. There's no provision that would exclude these government-funded assets from income thresholds the government sets for benefit programs such as SNAP or subsidized housing.
You know, there are a lot of exceptions to those rules, but they're complicated. So even the perception that they might lose those benefits might discourage lower income families from trying to save and build wealth.
But even with these concerns, Bouchera, who has been working in this field for around 30 years, and some of his peers, are pleased to see this proposal come to fruition.
It's a really kind of a big moment, I think, in our social policy history that the federal government says, yes, saving and investing should start as early as birth for every kid in America.
For PBS News, I'm Hannah Gravenstein.